Hello, July.
Hello, Ian. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Yes, Daniel's with us again today, as you can
Yes.
see if you're viewing, and hear if you're not. Here he is.
Yes, and welcome back. It's nice to have you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, it has been a while, right? I'm pleased to report that our last episode together has been topping the chart for the last month or so, which is great. It's got the most downloads in this in the October round, if you like. And yeah, our downloads have increased dramatically as well, which is nice. Whether or not it was, the new light, new energy you brought in, whether it's the questions that we've been answering, but yeah, whatever it is, we welcome it for sure. It's
Cool.
good. And congratulations on passing your driving test.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
it was stressful, but I'm glad it's all over now.
yeah, I bet your dad is
Oh, beaming,
more.
man. I'm beaming. It's
Ian,
great.
yeah,
It's such a step forward for him. And
yeah.
I knew it meant more than just passing tests. It's a real elevation thing. So yeah, it's a fantastic achievement. Yeah, thrilled.
Yes,
Yeah,
excellent.
brilliant.
So you can be driven around everywhere now, Ian, as well, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm in the back seat now. I'm in the back seat. Or
You
a
can go
boot.
out drinking, and can you give me a lift, please?
Hey, roles
There's
are
a thought.
reversing.
Not sure about that one, but
What do you mean you're not sure about that one?
No, I'm not either.
Oh well, goody. So, Daniel, what do you want to talk about today?
what do you want to talk about today?
Well, when you first came into the show a few weeks back now, almost a couple of months back, you mentioned start of this whole evolution thing for you as you've changed your friends, you've changed some of the routines, like your physical exercise, and you've started to notice some changes in yourself. And there is something that you mentioned that really, it kind of blew my mind at the time, given how young you are. Although age has nothing to do with how our evolution as such, but it does kind of have something to do with our wisdom and experience and so forth. So I want to maybe revisit that and something that we wanted to talk more about. Do you want to say to the listeners what that was?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I explicitly mentioned the term at the time. I think it was more, or maybe I did, but
You did mention, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely covered the topic, and I think it was just talking about like sort of elevated awareness and just being like conscious about what you do. So what we said was about the third eye.
Yeah, the third eye, yes. It's kind of that's the thing that really got my attention from someone of your experience or lack thereof, dare I say. To even
In the
mention
nicest possible way.
in the
Yeah.
nicest possible way, of course.
Yeah.
To mention even such a thing, because as your dad and I have been talking about in the past few episodes, awareness is the key and the very first step to any transformation that we can have. And you've started with that awareness in this very tender age, which is nice. And it's something that I always want to also talk about without deviating too much away from the subjects that really matter to our audience. But it is something that we can tap into at any time, and it's kind of our intuition. Let's talk about that a little bit, the increased awareness, and how does our intuition then we can use our intuition as a guide to make decisions maybe in life, and allow us to get to that elevated stages, as Ian has been saying. I really like that word, actually, elevating yourself.
Yeah, that's struck a chord with you, that one, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it certainly has done. Yes, and this is the whole purpose of the whole podcast and the whole conversations that we are having. So what is your understanding of it then, Daniel, and what is your experience, if any?
I mean, it's been a while since I brought it up. and I kind of haven't really been thinking about it. My mind has been swamped by I feel, if anything, since the last time we spoke, if I had a third eye, it's been closed because I've been so overwhelmed by A levels and with driving. And I think now that the driving's over, I feel twice as light as I was before, you know. But I've still got A levels looming over me, and you know, what do I want to do when I leave A levels? So I guess my understanding of it is being aware of, not necessarily being aware, but looking to find out truth and using critical thinking and not taking everything at face value, and then that enables you to have an awareness of what's really going on.
Okay. Yeah. And interesting. Yes. Well, awareness is one thing. And you mentioned the word overwhelm, which is interesting because, you know, you have so much going on. And this is one of the very things that actually stops us even using or even accessing our intuition. Intuition does exist in all of us, as the name suggests. It's something that is inherent in everybody, but being able to access it or not depends upon how you are in any given day. So if you're overwhelmed with whether it's A level, whether it's driving test, whether it's looking after everyone and the work stresses and whatever, then all we do is we're constantly in a reactive manner. You're reacting to the outside world, reacting to our day to day. Whereas being able to have that increased awareness and increased you know, how we make those decisions. You were saying, of what do I do after the A levels? If you just constantly react to what happens, whether it's your grades, whether it's you like a subject or not at this moment in time, that's going to be, decisions will be made by the external world. Whereas as we spoke at the time, I remember saying to you that it's not about what is it that you want to do, who do you want to be, how do you want to feel, how do you want to show up in the world? What are the sort of difference, impact that you want to make in the world? That's going to determine what you get to do right now. And it doesn't matter what you choose right now either, because that's a decision through from where you are now, but it may be a different decision 3 years from now. But the important thing is, if you make it, how do I want to feel, then it's a whole new level of awareness and whole new level of being, and it brings a different decision entirely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We were talking in the last episode, the Chulai, weren't we, about you know, deciding what you want to be, because it's so common to have that conversation, you know, what do you want to do? What do I want to do? And, you know, we have, well, last episode and many other episodes talked about, you know, it's more about the person that you want to be and how you want to feel about what you're doing. And then the doing fits with that. It's in that order. Yeah.
Yes, it's in that order. And what you do will change depending on what job you have or what stage of your life you might be, or what are the requirements from the external world at that moment in time. But who you are being in whichever context will not change. Also, if, as we said in the last episode, if we are here and we want to be there are two different points, and it requires us to be a different person, and therefore it requires us to be able to do different things as well as a result. But we need to decide who do we need to be first. And here's the difficulty: people always work from where we are now to where they want to go, and where they're going to go is going to keep going. It's going to keep moving because you're still stuck here, if that makes sense. If you work from here, this is point B, if you like, this is where I want to be, this is how I want to feel, what are the kind of actions would I take, and who would I be if I was already had that kind of thing. So working from point B, and that comes from not being reactive, not being overwhelmed, and just tapping into that third eye, seeing what you wouldn't normally see, or hearing things and being able to sense things. Third eye is about sensing, isn't it? Being able to sense. And I think going back to your journey, Daniel, that you were starting to sense, that your group of friends or whatever it wasn't quite working for you, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was not so much of a sensing as it was of a sudden abrupt bam of, okay, wow, this really isn't good. But yes, it was. I guess I always felt that I wasn't in the right group. I always felt that I could be with better people. Not that sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
And it's more about the people appropriate to us, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny you say that. Earlier I mentioned about age a lot, which is funny because this isn't anything to do with age. It's about the sense. It comes from you as a person, and perhaps, and also I noticed that when you are younger, you have heightened sense. If you have a child going into an environment, nursery, whatever it might be, and they all of a sudden start playing up, that's not necessarily about them just being difficult or throwing a tantrum, because they can pick up on the energy of the environment that they are in, because they have those heightened senses that we overwhelmed people don't have because we are too busy reacting. We are not really tapping into that sense that we have. My son, even at the age of 5, 6, 7, whatever, or 10 or 11, was sensing the places that he's in, and you could feel the discomfort, and therefore you could feel his behavior immediately change. As we've learned, he's only 11 still, and as we learned to read him more, we know something is wrong and something doesn't feel right, and that's because of the awareness that he has, that's the increased sense, and he's picking up on the energy that something isn't aligned with him, or whatever it is that's not working. So that's the kind of place we want to be, because then how this helps us is making decisions, especially difficult decisions. Is this the right thing for me? What do I want to do next? And that decision can then come from within you, because as we said, Ian, in the last episode, we are too busy looking outside of ourselves for all the decisions, for all the approval, the validation, and everything else. We are too committed to what other people are thinking. We don't even allow ourselves to tap into that sense.
That's right. I mean, the conversation was around the word commitment, and I thought that's a bit odd, being committed to our inferiorities or our worries, worrying about what other people think of us, and focusing on that. But it is, you were saying we're always committed to something, and if it's not the right things, then we're committed to failing, or we're committed to struggling. And that was a bit of an eye-opener for me to think, we're actually, commitment's a strong word, isn't it, really?
It is. And we never think about it in that way, but we are always committed to something. And if you want to know what you're committed to, just look at your external circumstances. Just look at the results that you're getting. Just look at the kind of people you're hanging about with, and the daily stuff that you're doing. That shows you what you're committed to.
Yeah. I can't exactly say I'm committed to work at the moment, which is a shame. But I'm committed. I've just bought a gym membership, so because now that I can drive, I can have the freedom to go now. So
that's cool.
Hopefully, I can be committed to that.
Like I said, it's easy to be hard on yourself and say, oh, you know what, whatever. But it is the fact that you've taken your driving test right in the middle of A levels and everything else means that you are trying to evolve and get better and grow and do something else with yourself. So that in itself is a great indication that you are doing something to change yourself. And you know what? Everybody's idea of work and study is different. You can do whatever works for you. And in the end, you are going to get the result that you want. That doesn't mean that you should slack off and not do anything, of course.
Yeah.
But I have this, for whatever reason, and this is kind of the knowing, the experience that I have, that I have full trust in you that you are going to get the result that you want, because you have definitely got a head screwed on, if you like, so as the expression goes, right?
Yeah, nice one that. Yeah,
nice
good job. Mine is too. It would fall off. Yeah, I'd leave it behind. I'd forget it.
As it goes. So So any questions, Daniel? I really like to hear your perspective. Some questions you ask really creates great conversations.
Oh, I don't know. I'm in an answering mood, not a questioning mood at the moment.
Okay,
but,
what do you want to answer?
Good question. I guess the challenge for me in day-to-day life, whether it's to do with the third eye, or whether it's to do with commitment, or whether it's to do with A levels of driving, or it's just staying consistent. There's some days where I'll get up and I'll be like, yes, and there'll be a fire burning inside of me, and I'll get up and I'll say, right, I'm going to do this, this, this. And then by the time it gets to 11 o'clock in the morning and I've already had, one and a bit lessons and, breaks in front of me, I'm like, ah. And then it just stops. And it's just such a shame because I know what I want. I know what my goal is.
Okay.
I know what I have to do to get there. It's not that I don't understand it or I'm stuck in any way. It just stops. Like the energy isn't there. I don't want to say motivation because I am motivated.
Yeah.
It's the energy that's not there.
Okay. Is that the physical energy or just
quite possibly?
Need? Yeah. So maybe, I mean, I love that you brought this up. Consistency is one of the keys in staying committed to something. And you also brought up, you have a goal, you have a purpose, you know where you're going, and you know what that's even right in front of you, what you need to do. So if it is just the physical energy levels or whatever, maybe, because I mean, I can imagine they do put so much stuff on you. They cram the lessons one after the other. My son barely has any break between the lessons. And even in that break, they just about have enough time to breathe, let alone play or like they used to do. So I can definitely imagine why you would run out of energy. Is there anything you can do, for example, your health better, just to pick up your energy levels, like physically, to give your brain more energy, whether it's drinking more water, whether it's having a protein snack or whatever it might be, just to refocus your brain, because it is just that. Or even a small exercise of staying focused, just having a quiet time for a minute, just to focus on your breathing or whatever it might be. So, anything like that. Can you think of something you could maybe do?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely need to keep drinking more water.
Yeah, I keep telling him. That's one of my things, but I need to do that myself too. So it's easy to tell other people and not do things yourself.
I think it's the first few weeks of like going from not doing anything to wanting to become consistent. It's not the 2 years that you're going to spend doing A levels or the 6 months that you're going to spend going to the gym because you bought it. It's the like first week and a half of doing it every single day. And if you manage to do it Monday to Sunday and then Monday to Sunday again, then you've cracked it. But it's when you do it Monday, Tuesday, half of Wednesday, and then you skip it Thursday and you debate it Friday, and then it never happens.
Yeah, because your brain will go back to the habit. That pathways have already been created, and it will never forget. Even though when you get a new habit, replace it with a new habit, it's still going to stay there. And as soon as you go back to the old habit, it's going to continue. So what else can you do to, if it's you can see what your patterns are. So the fueling yourself better with water, oxygen, and food, maybe one way to get that physical energy back, re-energizing yourself from that. Is there anything you can maybe do to reward yourself in order to make sure that actually, you know what, I've done so well and I'm doing well, therefore I'm going to reward myself with something and I'm just going to keep going. So it's like when you know that you have a reward at the end of that being consistent for a certain time, then you are definitely going to stay consistent. We mentioned this before, didn't we? If you actually do this homework, you get to play a game with your friends or whatever it might be. Yeah, does that make sense? I know you're not going to do that in the middle of school day, but
yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I need to do, and it's going to be a lot easier now that I've got my license, is to actually spend less time doing work. And I don't mean like cut down what I'm when I am working. I just mean the free time that I have. I actually spend I don't spend that time doing anything. I just waste it. And so I think if I cram my time, for me, it's going to be so different for many people. But I think for me personally, if I'm busy, then I'm going to get more work done.
Okay.
If I say, right, I'm going to play a game for 1.5 hours, it's more than I'd do at the moment. But then hopefully I can get more work done that I'm doing at the moment. If I say after that 1.5 hours or before that 1.5 hours, I'm going to complete this, then I've got more incentive to do it. And I kind of feel like, this is the allocated time. If I go, I've got 5 hours in the day. I've got 5 hours, lots of time. I'll just do it later. I'll just have a snack now, listen to some music. I'll have a snack and listen to music for the 5 hours, and I'll never get it done.
Well, yeah, that's the Parkinson's law, isn't it? You just, whatever time you have, you will fill up that time. If you have 2 hours to do something, you'll do it in 2 hours. You've got 7 hours, you will do it in 7 hours. So instead of saying busy, because busyness isn't necessarily equal productivity, why don't we just say that you have a more structured day? So you have structured, allocated times for certain things, whether that's talking to your friend, whether it's playing a game, whether it's actually doing homework, or just going chatting to your dad, or watching YouTube, whatever it might be. At that point in time, if you know each day, certain times of the day what you're doing, then you're more likely to stick to that, as opposed to filling up your time, because the laziness, if you like, brings more laziness with it, because you just, why would you just get up and do something, however motivated you might be. We are humans, we seek comfort, simple as that, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer as well in having a reward. Like, I mean, I used to think, once I've got this essay done, I'll go back to my school days now. When I was sort of Daniel's age, if I could get this essay done, I can watch this program, or I can, read a book. And go back to the book that I'm reading, or, go out on my bike or something. I can do something that I want. It's like having something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And, the quicker I get this job done, that I'm not really that keen on doing, but the sooner I get it done, the sooner I actually get to do something I want to do, and the more time I've got for the thing that I really want to be doing. And I'm a big believer in that. And as I say, also having something to look forward to, even if it's in a few days' time. This weekend, for example. I mean, this is not real. We haven't planned anything this weekend, but to say this weekend we're all going out as a family to have a meal to celebrate Daniel's success of his driving, which we have to do at some point.
There you go. We've got to do that.
But it's having something to look forward to. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. But it's just having that. I think that's so key for keeping just that energy and keeping yourself going, because it's what you're looking forward to. We're going back to being what we're wanting to be again now.
That's right. And one thing I can suggest, Daniel, is that, decide on a daily basis what is your 3 or 5 non-negotiable things that you must do no matter what, in order to get you to where you want to be, whether it's a certain grade, whether it's to study for an exam, whatever it might be. These are 3 things I must do every day, no matter what happens. And as long as you do those 3 things, everything else is just noise and whatever. So at least you don't then carry the guilt and the shame of not doing those things, because then that brings you down even more, even when your energy is low. So then you can do those 3 things first thing, whilst your energy is high up. Then everything else can kind of come and go, if you see what I mean. And then the more consistently you do them, the better you get at doing that. And then it becomes easy. When things become easy, your brain will not fight you for it. Right now it's fighting you for it, because you're still struggling to keep yourself consistent. And the more you're struggling, the more you're focusing on that struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for me, I have got 5 things that I must do every day, and I allocate time for that, and I do it no matter what. I've got certain days I do certain things. Podcast is for Thursday. I do that every Thursday. I know what I'm doing, whatever. And the same thing for you can go, like on Mondays, I'm doing these 3 things, and this is what it is. And if you keep the same activities for each same days of the week as well, your brain will get into that rhythm and habit. So you don't have to chop and change. It doesn't have to struggle. So the whole point of this thing is to make your brain's life easy. And when it thinks easy, it won't resist. here's what you can do for consistency. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, really fascinating.
Yeah.
My when I have to get up at 6:35 on a Monday, go into school, and then sit in a class that I don't particularly enjoy for 2 hours, can sit like non-stop from second one to second 2 hours.
Wow.
That just kills me. And then the rest of the day is just useless. Like there's no point even being in school because I'm just so tired. Like unless I just sit back and ignore the lesson, if I try and make the most of that lesson, it just finishes me off because 2 hours in one goes is silly.
It is a lot.
We can only really focus in like sections of half an hour, I think is the, ideal for, human attention span. So yeah, it's very silly, but yeah,
but it is
about that.
Yeah, the thing is, it's just sometimes maybe there may be some micro moments within the 2 hours you can just switch off and focus on some breathing or whatever it might be. Nobody needs to know. Hopefully your teachers won't find out now they're listening to this episode.
Oi, Daniel, stop breathing.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think anybody in your class will be able to focus that long. I'm not sure how your teacher is even focusing or whatever. No. You can find moments to just be in that silence and then just refocus yourself, and if you can't, then you can't. Like you say, you're only human anyway. I think it's the key is to not beat yourself up about it afterwards. And it's not a matter of you not being consistent. It's just the fact that you just can't focus that long. My son can't focus that long. He'll be happy to focus for half an hour, let alone 2 hours. But that's why he goes now to school by himself. He tends to not walk with anybody. He goes and sits in his tutor group, just refocuses himself, just to be in the zone, if you like. To be able to do that, he would never do that before, but now he's doing that. Maybe find something that will get you in the zone, if you like, and then find other ways to, learn about body, learn about your whole biology. How am I going to keep myself focused in that time? And if you don't, be okay about it. I think the beating yourself up about it isn't helping. And the fact that you keep telling yourself, I can't stay focused for so long, is you're making it also real for yourself as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yes.
I was just going to say, Chulai, sorry, it's back to that, what we focus on grows in us. So if we focus on the lack of focus, I suppose, in this case, or the lack of concentration or ability to do it, if we focus on that, then that's going to, be first and paramount in our minds.
Yes, definitely. And it's we are so quick to judge ourselves. We are so quick to be hard on ourselves. We always do that. But just I'm learning to focus for longer periods of time every day. I can now focus for longer. And what else does your body need? Your body needs good rest, very good sleep. So on Sunday night, go to bed earlier so you can have a great quality sleep. Ensure you're not having too much sugar or caffeine or whatever before certain times before going to bed. These things sound simple and very basic, but they do affect how you sleep, how long you sleep, how the quality of the sleep you have. And then of course that will have a knock-on effect all of your focus the next day. The other thing, and the last thing maybe I will suggest to help with your focus and how long you can focus for, is maybe try meditation of some sort, whether it's an app, whether it's through just setting your timer 5 minutes a day and increasing it as you go. That will help you try and bring your mind to focus more quieter. When your mind is quieter, you'll be able to focus a lot easier for a lot longer. So that will definitely help.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some viewers / listeners for this podcast who might be thinking, meditation, if it's their first time listening, perhaps, they might go, meditation is just for, old yogis on mountains who, whatever. But actually, you're right. And it's staring me right in the face. So I don't know why I don't pick up on these things. But, when because I used to meditate every morning for 10
Mhm.
minutes, and I would try. Well, I'd get up, have a shower first. I wasn't sort of meditating, sort of half sleeping, because that doesn't work. So I'd have a shower, wake myself up, and then meditate for 10 minutes every morning. And actually, my concentration in class, in the first 2 or 3 days, I immediately saw a difference. I was like, wow, I can really focus for the hour. Maybe not. I didn't have 2-hour lessons back there, but for the 1-hour lessons, I could at least focus for them. So I think, yeah, you're right. I definitely need to start doing that again.
But this is just like a muscle. As you go to the gym, you don't see your muscles increased after the second day.
Exactly.
So it is just working at it, and your brain is also going to do exactly that. And then, like I said, as soon as you go back to the bad habit, it will pick it up and carry on where you left off. So be sure to just keep on top of this consistency. But when you don't, then also don't beat yourself up. You get back on the horse again. Also doing this meditation and focusing yourself, consciously focusing on your focus, is the thing that's going to open up the intuition, and the quietening your mind you will start to hear and feel and get to know the answers that you're looking for. And often go to meditate with a question in your mind. Not that it doesn't, you have to think about that question while you're meditating. You will find the answers will come to you as you meditate. So maybe your goal, now that you passed your driving test, is to, how do I reduce my overwhelm with the A levels? Because the amount of work that you have to do is not going to go away. But how can I make it easier on myself? How can I look after my body and my mind, and feed myself good food? Like you were saying, you were looking after your body with your nutrition, you're looking after it by going to the gym, and now you can look after your mind as well, which is the first and foremost. No matter how much you study, if your mind is full of crap, excuse the language, then you're not going to achieve an awful lot. So yeah.
I agree with that.
All good stuff to think about. And
Stuff,
we could probably talk about this for a lot longer, but you can hear what's coming next. That we're
meditate on the time.
We're pretty much out of time. Yep. Talking about focusing for a long time, and hopefully people are still with us listening and will have benefited from us thinking about the things that we've thought about as always. And obviously, you can watch and listen to this podcast as often as you need to, and we'd encourage that. So we'll bring it to a close. So thank you, Chulai. Thank you to all the listeners and viewers, of course, for tuning in. Thank you to Daniel for making this appearance, and he'll be back, we hope, again in a few episodes' time. And so for now, we'll say thanks very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes, thank you. Bye.